Apologies for the rather rushed end to the last lesson. I ran myself out of time, but we did get to the end of that particular beast there. And like I said at the start of that one, we multiplied first there, but we could have rationalised denominators first and then multiplied. It might have ended up being a little bit easier. It might not have. Sort of hard to know really. And there's no real point doing it a second way once you've done it one way. Now, in this particular example here in letter D, I am not doing with multiplication, so I'm going to have to. It's much easier if I rationalise my denominators first, then deal with my fractions. So just sort of doing as I did before and sort of thinking about those in a little box here. So I might just draw the box in a second. 4 minus root 2 on 2, if I multiply that by, on root 2, if I multiply that by root 2 on root 2, I'm going to end up with 4 root 2 minus 2 on 2. And there really is no reason for me to leave that like that, as we did actually. I think we had that one up here on a previous question. Yeah, we had this there, and 2 root, so that becomes 2 root 2 minus 1. We might just do that. That's going to be, so it's going to be 2 root 2 minus 1. And then the 1 on root 3, if I multiply that by root 3 on root 3, I'm going to end up with root 3 on 3. So that's, I guess, my 2 simplified fractions. So now I can start actually working on that problem. So I'm going to rephrase that problem and say, well, that's basically just 2 root 2 minus 1 minus root 3 on 3. And at this point, I need to get a common denominator again. Obviously, both of these other two numbers can be written as fractions with 1 as a denominator. So if I just make 3 the common denominator here, and I'm actually in this case going to just make one big fraction. What did I have to multiply this by to get to a denominator of 3? I had to multiply this term by 3, and I do have to multiply minus 1 by 3 as well. But obviously, root 3 on 3, I didn't have to change the denominator at all there, so it effectively got multiplied by 1. So that's how we ended up with that one. So as we follow through here, I'm going to end up with 6 root 2 minus 3 minus root 3. And that's as simple as that one's going to get. I can't simplify that anymore. Although 3 goes into both 6 and 3, it doesn't go into root 3. So that's as simple as that one's going to get. Sometimes I might rearrange that and have the integer first and then the surds second. But in this particular case, I think I'm quite fine to leave that as is. So where that leaves us now is going on to binomial surds, which I'll deal with in a second video. But if I flick on down here, I'm going to write a note here, which obviously you guys will already see in OneNote when you get here. With regards to this, after this lesson, so after video 2, do up to question 13. And don't go any further. Oh, yeah, so don't do question 13. So question 13 and 14 after video 3. And even if your strand of work says you don't need to do 13 and 14, or I think all of them do, yeah, it's very important to have a go of 13 and 14. But deal with that after you've done video 3. So take a break from videos now, get into having a go at some of these exercises. It'll start a little bit more easy. It'll start a lot more like those questions up the top where we're just basically in example 1. It should start off much more like that, and then work your way through. And I will start another video in a second to deal with conjugates, which is what's up next. Cheers.